Hey everyone, Thornton here, and we are about a month and a half since the release of the finals, and there has been a lot of positive reception around the game, although some players are concerned that it might be dying or that, it's lost its hype. And today we're going to go over how that isn't actually that true and what is actually going on with the game, and also what's going on with the meta, because some players are a little frustrated with that as well, especially regarding medium. We're going to do all of that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. So we're actually going to go ahead and start this topic by talking about the player engagement and numbers, and this is actually a very important statistic. It doesn't tell the entire picture, but it does give us a pretty good idea of where this game is headed. You see, when the finals actually launched on December 7th of 2023, there was a huge amount of player interest to the point where the peak count at the launch reached an impressive 242,399 players, which is one of the best Steam launches in a very long time. In fact, it even took down Call of Duty and had better numbers than that. Now, Steam charts are reporting a pretty solid player base still in January, with around 116,064 players on average, although it does dip and go up and down both ways. The average player count over the last 30 days has consistently exceeded 100,000. And just being perfectly honest, games that are dying typically don't have that kind of reach. Is it as good as when it first launched? No, of course not. Those numbers are always going to dip as players try out different games, new games come out. Looking at you, Pal Worlds, which also just slammed through and became an absolutely huge game. Like right now, it's #1 on selling on Steam, and it's also the most played above Counter-Strike, Dota, Baldur's Gate, and Call of Duty. And this is the natural ebb and flow of games. Even though Pal World isn't the same as the finals, there are players that are a little tired of the finals and will go on and try something new. That does not mean that the finals is dying. However, I will say one thing that has been very difficult with the player base is actually the whole class balance dynamics, because players are always arguing, and after the most recent 1.5 update, a lot of players are upset because the medium build basically emerged as the dominant choice and really arguably the only choice you should be playing in rank. Basically, the only reason it's so powerful is that it doesn't really have any weaknesses, and you have a ton of strong features such as recon senses and the CL40 grenade launcher. Along with that, you can run defib and healing. There's just a lot of viable options with medium, and the light and heavy received a lot of nerfs. So of course, if you're playing the game right now and you don't like to play medium, it's probably pretty boring and you're trying out some other games. And that's going to be something that's going to be super important for Embark Studios to work on for this game's longevity, because right now the players are actively discussing potential changes. Some are advocating to buffs to other builds like light and heavy, and others are cautioning against power creep, which is a very real issue. You can look at pretty much any long-term FPS game, and something that always ends up happening almost is power creep, looking at wall hacks in Apex Legends and other such games. So Embark Studios is going to need to do constant balancing, because with the recent updates, there's a lot of cool new features that are added in, new store rotations, new limited time modes, but the balancing makes this a very one-sided game, which is not what you want when you have 3 different classes and you want to give the players a unique playstyle choice of wanting to play the game how they want to. One of the great things about this game is the destructible environment, which allows you to have a lot of customization into how the game actually plays out. By making medium the only viable class, you're limiting the way that players want to enjoy the game. I will say though that this game, even though it is not a battle royale, there are a lot of parallels to the genre. There's a lot of tactical gameplay with class-based mechanics like some other battle royales. It's got the kind of capture the flag mechanic, destruction tech, and strategic decision making that make it really, really unique, and probably my favorite game since the battle royale started coming out in 2017. I played a lot of PUBG back in the day, Apex Legends, Warzone, all very fun games, but this feels like the new best thing since the battle royale genre. And the tournament dynamics and tactical gameplay make it really, really enjoyable and could lead to a very long life cycle. Basically, to ensure the game's long-term success, Embark is going to have to navigate the delicate task of addressing the class balance concerns and evolving the game in response to player feedback, but not listening to them too much as well. As player preferences and strategies evolve, continued updates and effective communication, which Embark has been very, very good at, is going to be absolutely essential. I do think that this game has a very long life ahead of it, especially when you look at the console player count, and it's actually in the top 10 on both Xbox and PlayStation, which is a huge market for any FPS game. You make more money on console than you do on PC, and the game has still got an impressive Steam count on PC. So in conclusion, I don't think this game is dying anytime soon, and it's definitely not dying right now. It's just hard to keep up with what we saw in the initial launch, and there's some issues with the balancing that Embark is going to have to do very, very soon to make sure that this game continues to thrive all throughout 2024. Let me know down below, what are your guys' thoughts on the finals? Are you still playing it and enjoying it, or have you moved on to different games and tried out other things? Also, don't forget to check out this channel right here by my editor Novell, who does a ton of great finals gameplay and content. And until next time, everyone, thanks for coming in, and I'll see you in the next video.